squished the tops of her breasts into little meat pies above the elastic. It was difficult to tell how long she and Roy had been together, and whether he had been inaugurated already into a fatherly role, or was merely auditioning. Jean's interest in other people lay primarily in the mystery of their happiness. Happy children, happy parents tending happy children, and small animals. Had they always been such evangelists of joy? He now reserved a special kind of misery for the sight of a happy couple. This particular human configuration seemed to have been invented to draw out the despair in everyone else. A scrum of ball-playing men moved up and down the beach, spreading out and coalescing in expansive territory. You could smell them before they passed by, and again afterward, a mass of warm air cabbagey with sweat. Even men who didn't play sports in their regular lives, the ones with the narrow, bony chests, white as the bite inside a pickle, even they would play with a ball at the beach. Every now and then, when they stampeded across a blanket, some lifeguard would stand up and bullhorn about it. When Jean was in college, the lifeguards on this beach had been lazy party boys, scornful of enforcing rules made by somebody else, especially the state of New Hampshire. On their breaks, they smoked cigarettes and sipped beer from bottles in paper bags. But something had changed. Now the beach seemed part of a larger state public service effort to deliver a serious message about health and safety. Last summer, a mobile health clinic had been stationed in the parking lot, and to get to the beach you had to pass cheerful volunteers in matching T-shirts, handing out flyers promising various free screenings. It had been one of the last memorable fights between him and Maida, a fight that began when one of the volunteers asked if she could give them a flyer, and Maida said yes, and he said no. Maida took the flyer and read aloud about the screenings as they stumped over the dunes, and he was aware of the way his no had sharpened her yes, had made it oppositional. "They're free," Maida said. "Why not?" But nothing was free, and he said so. Maybe if they had left off there, sparring half-heartedly about money, he would have forgotten the argument by now. Instead, they jumped tracks, and the argument became about what it was or wasn't useful to know. If you could know something, Maida said, she didn't understand why you wouldn't choose to know it. Not knowing won't save you, she said, at a moment when neither of them knew she would die the next summer. Instead, he had taken a certain needling pleasure in assailing her logic. He pointed out that no test would be able to tell him precisely when he would die, or provide the details for how the how would unfold. The tests would only increase his fear, which in his estimation was generally worse than pain of a physical kind. "For a smart person," Maida said, "sometimes you aren't." Now he picked his way down to the water through a maze of blankets, discarded cups, and scavenger birds. Airy tangles of dark seaweed, crisped by the sun, nested in the indentations in the sand, trapping small bits of litter, froth, and shells, mostly surf clams, but also some mussels. When he was 10 years old, the year his father died, Jean had gone to the beach for a week with his father's family, the French-speaking aunts, uncles, and cousins who came from the same small town in Canada, and his cousins had told him the secret that if you held a seashell to your ear, the ocean would speak to you. All that week he collected horse mussels, dog winkles, and moon snails, and after he had rinsed them off, he tested each one, thinking that if he found the right tiny, smooth, hollowed-out body and held it to his ear, he might hear, instead of the cry of the ocean, the voice of his father. It astonished him that even now, more than 60 years later, he couldn't see a seashell without experiencing the flicker of an urge to pick it up, in case the shell was the one that would return his father to him. A woman in a sun hat and slacks sauntered toward him along the edge of the surf. Some aspect of her gait triggered a flash of recognition, and the seas inside his cells rose in response. For a fleeting moment, the woman was Maida. But when she came nearer, the illusion was shattered. Her face, her expression...